This will be an international heavyweight title match in which the Stomper with his manager and representative booker, Mr. Tom Renesto, will be going against Big Phil Hickerson in that one. What you got here?
It is obvious. First of all, let me answer one question at a time. It's obvious to me that I have under my control and managership the greatest athlete in professional wrestling today. Everyone admits of this man's superiority in his line of endeavor, and of course, as far as Phil Hickerson is concerned, that will just be a matter of time. We'll dispose of him very, very easily, and he will be the new champion. I have something here in my hand. Now to answer your second question, you're asking me what I have here in my hand. These are all of the cards and letters that I've received from all the wrestling fans out there that I wish to extend many thanks to them for the manner in which I have stood up to the establishment. And in this letter, in this stack of letters, I see you're already disturbed, but in this stack of letters is one letter in particular that I would like to tell you what it says. It comes to the point that this lady wrote to me in the letter and said that she was very sorry that I had to put up with what I had to put up with, that she agreed with me on the fact that I was being intimidated, and everyone is intimidated by one Jerry Lawler. She also felt very sorry for you because that you were involved and that you were, so to speak, in the middle of it. I, too, was very sorry to have to put you in the position that you were put in, but I do agree that, and as I've said then, that you are intimidated by Jerry, and it's a very, very unfortunate thing. So, as I said, going along with that with you, Lance, I'm extremely sorry that you were involved. It also goes on to say that she wondered why, during all of this, and as you know, in the back, things got a little rougher and a little worse. And she also wondered why I didn't reach across and slap Jerry Lawler in the face. Well, obviously, she goes on to say that I'm no fool that I wouldn't do that. First of all, it's not because I'm afraid of him, but it's because I have a lot of dignity and respect, and under pressure, I work the best. However, she did say with the other gentleman, what is his name?
Eddie Marlin.
Eddie Marlin, excuse me. Eddie Marlin was one. She said he got up in your face. Now I understand that's something that's used here about people getting up in your face and calling you a liar. She said I should have slapped Eddie Marlin. In retrospect, she is absolutely right. I should have reached across and slapped Eddie Marlin in the face, but poor gentleman as he is, it would be like slapping a child, and I realize that all of you are intimidated, and I feel so sorry for you. Okay. And I wonder, I know you're not getting a wrap-up,
yes,
but you want to wrap me up. But let me say this to you. I'm extremely sorry, and I hope that you all can sleep very well with having to live with yourselves. And as far as the lady is concerned, I'm going to do one thing. Eventually, you haven't heard the last of me, I'm going to wind up owning this country, this company, and when I do, the first person I'm going to fire is Eddie Marlin.
Okay, fine. You heard from Tom Renesto. We'll be hearing words from the gentleman who is serving as his manager and his booker, Mr. Tom Renesto.
You know, Lance, I'm amazed at people. They all seem to like bad news. There's two things. There's always bad news, and there's always good. Let me first reflect on bad news. The bad news is, covered by all the media, all the newspapers, radios, and all, is that poor Jerry Lawler lost to Ric Flair. That seems to be the bad news. Now, that's been on all the front pages of all the tabloids across the United States everywhere, that Ric Flair defeated Jerry Lawler. Now, let's go to the good news. The good news is, usually on a 70 or 80-page tabloid or newspaper, these people know what a tabloid is, it's a newspaper, you have to look back at 60, say page 57, page 60, and way down at the bottom, way over in the corner, comes up the good news that my man, the Stomper, defeated big, fat Phil Hickerson for the international title. And it's a sad thing indeed when you have to look so far and so far down and get it over in a little small space, the good news. Obviously, the people of today are used to so much bad news, that's all they want to listen to. Let me refer to Phil Hickerson, if you may. To Phil Hickerson, the days of Billy the Kid and all this screaming and hollering is over with. And there's nothing any more obnoxious to a person than a fat crybaby, and that's what Phil Hickerson is, a fat crybaby. Let me say this. He has proclaimed himself as being the king of Jackson, Tennessee. Well, we want to go on record right now. We want to change the name of Jackson, Tennessee. It should be Fat City, Tennessee, and to concur along with Phil Hickerson. Now, Phil Hickerson, you've cried, you've gone on, and once again, the good news to me personally, the good news to the Stomper is the fact that Jerry Lawler had lost to Ric Flair. Here's the good news. This man has won. He's a top athlete in the world. We're ready, willing, and able to meet all people. And to poor Phil Hickerson, you have our condolences. Hickerson is obviously mentally demented or retarded in some way or another.
Don't cross him off. He's still looking for a rematch.
We're looking forward to giving it to him.
Fine. We'll see you in the ring right now, Mr. Stomper, please. Okay, we're ready to go, Dave. Let's get back to the ring and some action. Anything to get away from that guy, boy. I'll tell you, he bothers me. Bout Jerry Lawler, Tom Renesto. Kind of an unusual pairing. Let's hear what Tom Renesto had to say about that action.
Lawler, I've dedicated my life to this business, and you are not going to do anything to take it away from me. I'm going to tell you something else. As I said, regardless of what the people think about me, regardless of whether they like me, regardless of whether they think I've got a chance against you, brother, you know I've got a chance against you because I'm a man. I'm a man that's going to face you. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to rip you. I'm going to do everything humanly possible to hurt you. You know, recently, the Stomper, I invented something that no one else has got in this business. I gave it to the Stomper against Phil Hickerson. Had he used it properly, Phil Hickerson would be walking around right now with a white cane selling pencils on a street corner. That's where I intend on putting you, Lawler. Remember, I'm the inventor of the thing that the Stomper used against Phil Hickerson. I'm also a man, Lawler, and I'm going to dedicate my life to destroying you. I'm going to put you on a street corner selling pencils, walking around with a white cane.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that about Lawler. I'll tell you one thing, he better be awful careful climbing in that ring with the cane, because after what he did to Lawler in that last match, it involved the Stomper, and he involved himself in it. And it's true that that veil that the Stomper put over Hickerson's eyes temporarily put Phil out of the action so that he did lose the international belt. He's regained it since that time. But I'm sure he'll be counting on things like that. Won't be the first time Lawler's seen anything like it. Let's see what we can hear from Jerry.
You know, every now and then you get a match that, well, seems almost too good to be true. One that you really look forward to, one that you know you're going to enjoy. I say every now and then because those kind of matches don't come around too often. But Monday night, Eddie Marlin brought me a contract for a match with Tom Renesto. Now, I got to admit, at first I thought it was a joke. I thought Eddie was just trying to make me laugh or something. But then I read the contract. Tom Renesto has challenged me to a match. Well, I sat down and I thought about it. And obviously, Tom Renesto, you know, apparently he knows what he's doing. Apparently, he's still got his faculties about him. I guess. But Tom, I think you better look in the mirror, take a good long look at yourself. Now I know one thing. I'm going to tell the people something that they may not know. I checked into his background. Tom Renesto, of course, is a former wrestler. He wrestled for many years. One of a famous tag team, not the one that appeared in the Memphis area, but as the Assassins. He and a guy by the name of Jody Hamilton, and they were a very successful tag team. But that's years ago, Tom. You can't relive the past. Now, I know you're upset about losing your job and all of this kind of stuff, and I know you're real mad at me about that. But before you make the mistake of your life, you better, as I said, take a good long look in the mirror, and then take a good long look at me and think about what you're doing. Because once we get in that ring, if you go through with this match, when that bell rings, brother, then I'm going to forget about what an old man you are, and I'm going to forget about what a washed-up has-been you are, and I'm going to beat you like the dog that you are. Now, I promise you this, Tom Renesto. If you don't back out of this match today, right here on television, then I can guarantee you this. It'll be the last time you ever set foot in a wrestling ring again. When I get through with you Monday night, you may get better, but you'll never get well. I can promise you that.
Okay, he had backed out of it, and the action is coming up Monday night. Renesto and Lawler will be involved in that match.